On a cold morning in New Tokyo, the foundation of interstellar relations between Earth and the Star Alliance found new depth. At the base, Caden was greeted by the hum of holographic screens and the voice of the universal translator. He was soon introduced to Xenar, an alien ambassador whose blue skin glowed softly in the artificial light. Despite his professionalism, Caden couldn't hide his surprise at Xenar's striking appearance, her attire accentuating an almost ethereal beauty. Ambassador Xenar bowed slightly, a purposeful smile lighting her face. "Thank you, Caden," she said in a measured tone. "I'm here to learn about your concept of affection and love, which I understand is very different from ours." As they walked through the base's corridors, their conversation deepened. Xenar, curious about human emotions, remarked, "On Venus, we communicate through emotional resonance. But here, words and gestures seem to carry significant weight. Can you explain how humans express intimacy?" Deciding to explore the city, they left the base and immersed themselves in the vibrant streets. Xenar observed interactions between people, from bustling crowds to couples sharing tender moments. Over dinner at a quiet restaurant, she asked, "What is human kissing? On my planet, connection is through energy, but I want to understand the physical form of this bond." Caden, intrigued by her openness, hesitated but leaned in, lightly touching his lips to hers. The brief contact stirred curiosity and an unspoken spark between them. As the evening progressed, Caden explained that human intimacy involved both physical and emotional connections, built on trust and vulnerability. Later, as they strolled through a park under the glow of city lights, Xenar expressed a desire to explore this new language of touch. While aware of the boundaries between professional and personal curiosity, Caden agreed, and their exploration became a journey of mutual discovery. Back at Caden's apartment, their conversation turned deeply personal. Xenar questioned how humans build trust so quickly. Caden explained that sharing fears and dreams forms the foundation of deep bonds. Their growing connection culminated in an intimate night, blending emotional vulnerability with physical closeness. By morning, both acknowledged the profound impact of their time together. Xenar expressed a desire to bring these concepts of emotional connection to her culture, believing they could transform Venusian understanding of relationships. Their farewell was bittersweet, filled with hope for what their shared experiences could inspire. Weeks passed, and Caden returned to his routine at the base. Yet, his time with Xenar left a lasting impression. Every foreign diplomat reminded him of her curiosity and openness, but none quite matched her spark. One day, an unexpected holographic message arrived from Venus. Xenar appeared, her radiant blue skin glowing with familiar intensity. "Caden," she began, "your people's emotional connections inspired me. I've proposed a cultural exchange program on Venus, focusing on emotional exploration. I'd like you to come and help lead it." Caden felt a mix of excitement and apprehension but accepted, eager to continue their journey. As his ship approached Venus, a planet of vast oceans and floating cities came into view. Upon landing, he was greeted by a procession of Venusians, their glowing blue skin reflecting curiosity. Xenar's warm smile dispelled his doubts. "Welcome to Venus, Caden," she said, extending her hand. Over the following weeks, Caden and Xenar co-led the program, sharing stories and fostering mutual understanding. Their relationship, once rooted in professional curiosity, deepened into a profound emotional bond. However, challenges arose as Venusian traditionalists resisted the changes. One night, after a heated debate, they confronted a group of skeptics. "What right do you have to change our culture?" one demanded. Xenar stepped forward. "We're not here to change who you are," she replied firmly, "but to show a new way to connect. Each of you is free to decide for yourselves." The program gradually gained acceptance, with participants embracing new ways to communicate and connect. Caden and Xenar became symbols of the transformative power of love and understanding. They made their relationship public, inspiring others across the galaxy. As their bond strengthened, so did the cultural ties between Earth and Venus. Their story became a testament to the potential of interstellar connections, proving that even across vast distances, love and understanding could bridge any divide. There are also delegates of Aelan, a world where advanced technology dictates almost every aspect of daily life, leaving little space for emotional expression during the first sessions. The ambassadors carefully observe the interactions between the Marians and the humans. The differences are evident, but so is the curiosity. One of the ambassadors of Munder, a golden-skinned being called Taller, is shown particularly interested in the idea of emotional vulnerability in the world. Logic and reason are the pillars of our society. We never consider emotion as a tool for diplomacy. Comment on one of the sessions. Zinara, seeing an opportunity, proposes a simple emotional exchange activity. Share a significant personal memory. Taylor hesitates at first, but then shares a story from his childhood, a memory of friendship that he had forgotten over time. The room falls silent, and Taylor realizes that through that story, he has built an immediate connection with those others. Caden observes, noting how even cultures more rigid may find value in emotional openness. It's just the beginning. He thinks to himself, feeling a deep sense of purpose in his mission as exchange programs advance. Not all changes are welcome. In some corners of Venus, concerns grow about human influence and possible changes in the social structure. Veneri. Some citizens fear that emotional openness could weaken the purity of their traditions. Xenar and Caden face criticism from a group known as the Guardians of Resonance, who firmly believe in maintaining the traditional form of connection, Veneri. "We are losing our essence," cries one of the leaders, a veteran called Silox, during a public debate. "Our ancestors taught us to value emotional resonance. We do not need to adopt alien practices to find Zinara." He responds calmly. "Emotional resonance is our essence and always will be, but opening ourselves to new ways of connection does not mean losing who we are. Growing, learning, and enriching our lives with new experiences. Stay and join the discussion, offering a human perspective on the Earth. Diversity has strengthened us. Learning from other cultures does not take away our identity. It gives us greater understanding of ourselves and the universe." The words of Zinara and Caden sow the seed of reflection, but the Guardians of Resonance are not convinced. The tension persists, showing that the integration of new ideas always encounters resistance but also opportunity for dialogue and growth. Despite the challenges, the exchange programs continue to expand. Other species begin to send delegates to AV Veneers and Earth, and soon what began as a small initiative transforms into an intergalactic network of learning and understanding. Caden and Zinara are invited to participate in a special galactic council, where representatives from various planets meet to discuss the future of interplanetary relations. In this council, Caden proposes the creation of a galactic alliance for cultural understanding, an organization dedicated to promoting understanding and cooperation among the various species in the galaxy. The proposal is received with enthusiasm by the majority of representatives, although some, such as Munder and Axion, show reservations. A firm believer in the power of emotional connection now advocates in favor of the proposal. "We have seen the positive impact that emotional openness has had on our relationships. An alliance will allow us to share our experiences and build a more united future." Zinara also takes the floor, highlighting how diversity can be a source of strength and not division. "Our galaxy is vastly diverse, but in that diversity lies our true power in coming together. We not only share knowledge but create a legacy of peace and cooperation." The Council votes in favor of the creation of the Galactic Alliance, ushering in a new era of interplanetary relations. Caden and Zinara are named founding ambassadors, charged with leading the mission of the Alliance and continuing to foster understanding between species. With the Galactic Alliance established, Caden and Zinara dedicate their lives to the cause of cultural understanding. They travel from planet to planet, sharing their experiences and learning from other cultures, their relationship stronger than ever. It is a living testimony of what is possible when cultural barriers are overcome with love and empathy. One day, while at a conference on the planet Aspara Cinera, you receive an urgent message from Veneris. An unexpected crisis has arisen. An unknown disease is affecting the Veneris. Years, and it is suspected that it could be related to recent cultural exchanges. Caden and Zinara immediately return to Veneris, worried about what they might find when they discover that the disease is a form of uncontrolled emotional resonance that affects the mental and emotional stability of the veteran Zinara, using his knowledge of both cultures. He works tirelessly with doctors and scientists to find a solution. Caden, for his part, organizes support groups to help those affected manage their emotions and find balance. After weeks of intensive work, Cinera and Caden manage to develop a treatment that stabilizes the emotional resonance of those affected by combining traditional Veneris techniques with human emotional management practices. The crisis is resolved, and Veneris begins to recover. The experience leaves a deep mark on both, reminding them that the union of cultures will always bring challenges but also innovative solutions. "What we have built is strong," says Zenara Ain, as they watch the sunrise over the floating cities of Veneris, "but we must always be vigilant and open to change." They want to be born, knowing that their mission will never be complete. There will always be new challenges, barriers to break and new horizons to discover, but with Zenara by his side, he feels that they can face anything. Over time, Caden and Zenara become living legends known throughout the galaxy. As the architects of the Galactic Alliance, their story is told and retold, inspiring generations to come and explore the possibilities of intercultural understanding. However, as they look to the future, they both know that their work is just the beginning. The galaxy remains a vast place, full of mysteries, always opening up new species to discover new ones. Ideas to explore and new forms of connection to discover as they walk together towards the horizon. Under the starry sky, Veneers know that the adventure of their lives is just beginning, united by love and understanding. Caden and Zenara are ready to face any challenge that the universe presents them, knowing that, as long as they are together, they can overcome any obstacle and build a future of peace and unity for all beings in the galaxy. Decades have passed since the founding of the Galactic Alliance for Cultural Understanding. Zenara and Caden became legendary figures revered for their role in uniting species across the galaxy. However, as the Alliance's influence grew, so did the threat of the HFY, who feared change from the depths of the galaxy arose. Rumors of a secret faction, known as the Sons of Purity, this group made up of members of various species, believed that cultural purity must be preserved at all costs, and that the integration promoted by the Alliance was corrupting the essence of each race. One day, while Caden and Zenara were at a conference on the planet, Kill and Attack. The meeting was shaken by an explosion that destroyed part of the building where the conference was taking place, leaving several people injured and creating chaos. Zenara and Caden were unharmed, but the threat was Clara. The Children of Purity were willing to use violence to stop the expansion of the Alliance. Zenara, always the voice of reason, proposed a peaceful response. "We must find a way to dialogue with them," said during an emergency meeting of the Alliance on violence. Only with the Galactic Alliance established, Caden and Zenara dedicate their lives to the cause of cultural understanding. They travel to the planet, sharing their experiences and learning from other cultures. Their relationship, stronger than ever, is a living testimony of what is possible when cultural barriers are overcome with love and empathy. One day while they are at the conference on the planet, Espara Cinera receives a message. Veneris emergency. An unexpected crisis has arisen. An unknown illness is affecting the Venerans, and it is suspected that it could be related to the recent cultural exchanges. Caden and Zenara immediately return to Veneris, worried about what they might find when they arrive. They discover that the disease is a form of uncontrolled emotional resonance that affects the mental and emotional stability of the Venerians. Zenara, using her knowledge of both cultures, she works tirelessly with doctors and scientists to find a solution. Caden, for his part, organizes support groups to help the Venerians affected to manage their emotions and find balance. After weeks of intensive work, Cinera and Caden manage to develop a treatment that stabilizes the emotional resonance of those affected by combining traditional Veneris techniques with human practices of emotional management. The crisis is resolved, and Veneris begins to recover. The experience leaves a deep mark on both of them, reminding them that the union of cultures will always bring challenges but also innovative solutions. "What we have built is strong," Zenara says to Ken, as they watch the sunrise over the floating cities of Veneris, "but we must always be vigilant and open to change." Nascent Karen, knowing that his mission will never be complete, will always open new challenges, new barriers to break, and new horizons to discover, but with Zenara by his side, he feels that they can face anything. Over time, Caden and Zenara become living legends known throughout the galaxy. As the architects of the Galactic Alliance, their story is told and retold, inspiring generations to come. Explore the possibilities of intercultural understanding. However, as they look to the future, they both know that their work is just the beginning. The galaxy remains a vast place full of mysteries and always opens new species to discover new ideas to explore and new forms of connection to discover as they walk together towards the horizon. Under the starry sky, Veneers know that the adventure of their lives is just beginning. Joined through love and understanding, Caden and Zanara are ready to face any challenge that the universe presents to them, knowing that, as long as they are together, they can overcome any obstacle and build a future of peace and unity for all beings in the galaxy. Decades have passed since the founding of the Galactic Alliance for Cultural Understanding. Zanara and Caden became legendary figures revered for their role in uniting species across the galaxy. However, as the Alliance's influence grew, so did the threat of the waves they feared. The camp. From the depths of the galaxy, rumors arose of a secret faction known as the Children of Purity. This group, composed of members of various species, believed that cultural purity must be preserved at all costs and that the integration promoted by the Alliance was corrupting the essence of each race. One day, while Caden and Zara were at a conference on the planet Killar, an attack shook the meeting. An explosion destroyed part of the building where the conference was taking place, leaving several injured and creating chaos. Zanara and Caden emerged unharmed, but the threat era Clara, the Children of Purity, were willing to use violence to stop the expansion of the Alliance. Zanara, always the voice of reason, proposed a peaceful response. "We must find a way to dialogue with them," said during a meeting of the Alliance. "Violence alone. It breeds more violence. If we can understand their fears, perhaps we can find a path to peace." Although, according to Zanara, I knew that the situation was more complex. "We cannot allow fear to dictate our actions. We must protect what we have built," but without losing sight of our principles, they decided to form a team of mediation to seek a dialogue with the children of La Puridad, hoping that there was still room for reconciliation. The mediation team, led by Zanara and Caden, contacted a representative of the children of La Puridad. After weeks of negotiations and secret meetings, they arranged a meeting on a neutral planet far from the watchful eyes of the Alliance and opposing factions. The meeting took place in a hidden cavern on the planet of Ardal, an uninhabited world known for its desert landscapes and eternal skies. Twilight. The atmosphere inside the cavern was tense. Distrust was palpable in the air. The representative of the Children of Purity, a venerary Anus named Vliss, looked at Zanara with a mixture of respect and challenge. "You of all people should understand what is at stake," said our culture. "Our essence is being diluted by the influence of the Alliance. How can an ambassador of our people be so blind to this?" Zanara calmly replied, "Vliss, our culture is not a static lake but a flowing river, and it changes. The essence of who we are is not found in isolation but in our ability to adapt and grow by resisting change. We deny ourselves the opportunity to enrich ourselves with new experiences and knowledge." Seitan intervened, seeking to appease the attention. "We understand your concerns, Vliss, but the Alliance does not. It seeks to erase identities. It seeks to create a space where all cultures can flourish together. Our objective is unity, not uniformity." The meeting continued with intense but productive discussions, although Vliss was not completely convinced. He began to see Ainara and Caden, not as enemies but as possible allies in the search for a future where differences are not a threat but a source of strength. The negotiations with the Children of Purity continued for months. During this time, Zanara and Caden became targets of several attacks, demonstrating that not all members of the faction were willing to talk. Tension increased, and peace seemed increasingly fragile. In a particularly violent attack, a radical group of the Children of Purity tried to sabotage a ship of the Zanara and Caden Alliance. They managed to avoid tragedy, but the incident made it clear that the faction was deeply divided between those who desired peace and those who sought the destruction of the Alliance. Zanara met with Vliss once again, this time in a desperate attempt to avoid an all-out war. "There must be a way to stop this," Lena said, her voice filled with urgency. "We cannot allow hate and fear to destroy what we have built." Vliss had bequeathed to respect Zanara Asensio. "Maybe, if we could find a way to show our people, the benefits of the Alliance could change the minds of the most radical." They decided to organize a massive cultural meeting, an event in which the different species of the galaxy could share their traditions, stories, and art. They hoped that by showing the beauty of diversity, they could inspire a change in hearts. Of those who still clung to fear, The event known as the Star Festival was held in the orbit of a planet called Loomis, a world known for its spectacular auroras and starry skies. Thousands of representatives of different species attended, bringing with them samples of their culture, from dance and music to art and gastronomy. Zanara and Caden worked tirelessly to ensure the festival was a success. As species shared their traditions, new friendships and alliances were formed, and cultural barriers began to crumble. The atmosphere was filled with joy and wonder, a testament to the power of the Vliss unit, who attended the festival as a special guest and watched in silence as his people worshipped them and interacted with humans and other beings. For the first time he saw not a threat, but perhaps a possibility. Zinara was right. She thought maybe we can find a balance between preserving our essence and embracing change. However, peace is never easy to achieve. In the middle of the festival, a radical group of the Children of Purity tried to attack, trying to sabotage the event. Caden and Zinara, along with Vliss and other leaders. They acted quickly to stop the attackers, showing that even in diversity, unity could prevail. The success of the Star Festival marked a turning point in the galaxy. The Children of Purity began to lose support, and many of its members were inspired by what they had seen. They decided to join the Galactic Alliance. Peace, although fragile, had been established, and the galaxy began to experience an era of unprecedented operation. Zinara and Caden, now leaders respected throughout the galaxy, decided it was time to explore new horizons. They had dedicated a great part of their lives to building the Alliance. And although their work would never be finished, they felt it was time to let a new generation take over. They embarked on a starship with a mission of exploring the farthest corners of the galaxy, searching for new cultures, new forms of life, and new knowledge. They knew that every star they explored and every planet they visited would be an opportunity to learn and grow as the ship moved away from the planet. Loomis Zinara looked at Kidney and smiled. "We have done a lot, but there is still so much to discover." I say, Kitna felt taking her hand. The universe is vast and full of wonders, and as long as we are together, there is nothing we cannot achieve on their journey through the galaxy. Zinara and Caden found new civilizations, some as old as the stars, others barely emerging into galactic consciousness. Each encounter was a new opportunity to learn and share. They visited worlds covered in glowing oceans where bioluminescent beings danced in the water. They discovered planets covered in floating cities where technology merged with nature in unimaginable ways in each place. They shared the teachings of the Alliance, promoting understanding and unity one day in a far corner of the galaxy. They found an ancient space library lost millennia ago. In its archives, they found records of civilizations that had existed long before humanity, and the Venerians built their first cities. These records spoke from an ancient alliance, a coalition of species that had worked together to preserve peace and knowledge in the galaxy. Zinara and Caden realized that they were following in the footsteps of those ancient beings, continuing a mission that had begun long before they were born. They decided to restore the library and share its knowledge with the entire galaxy, making sure the lions of the past were not forgotten. While restoring the library, Zinara and Ka reflected on their own history. They had started out as a human diplomat and a Veneri ambassador. United by curiosity and love, desire to understand each other. Over the years they had overcome challenges, faced dangers, and in the process they had changed the galaxy forever. Their love, born of exploration and understanding, had become a beacon of hope to others. They knew they couldn't predict the future, but they believed that as long as species were willing to open their hearts and minds, there would always be hope for peace. They decided to leave a record of their history in the library, a testimony of what they had achieved and what still remained to be done. Their words full of wisdom and esperanza would be a legacy for future generations. A reminder that true strength lies in unity and understanding. While they looked at the stars from the library, they felt a deep peace. They knew that they had found their place in the universe and that together they could face any challenge. Centuries passed, and the story of Zinara and Caden became legend. Their names were remembered in songs and stories, and their legacy lived on in the teachings of the Galactic Alliance. The worlds they had visited prospered, and the galaxy entered an era of cooperation and discovery. New generations of explorers and diplomats followed in their footsteps, raising the light of understanding to the most distant stars, and so in a corner of the universe. Under a sky full of stars, The ancient library continued to shine a beacon of knowledge and hope, an eternal reminder that, as long as there are those who seek to understand, there will always be a future full of possibilities.